FSG have been good for marquee signings, but they've lacked in the kind of mid-range. And if you look at what's happening this summer with the injuries, what's going to happen next summer with the departures, we need more than just one or two class midfielders. We need probably two world-class midfielders and maybe one or two even mid-tier ones.
This video is being brought to you with thanks to our friends at Surfshark. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to not only browse the internet entirely anonymously, but also very securely. Surfshark will secure your data with industry-leading measures using uncrackable encryption and the most secure VPN protocols. One subscription with Surfshark will work across all of your devices. I use it for unlocking things like American Netflix. We also use it if we want to watch our Canadian DAZN account and a couple of other bits and pieces. The good news is you can get 83% off. That's right, I did say 83% off. And an additional 3 months free using the Anfield Agenda link in the description. They've also got a really credible and unique 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like Surfshark, it doesn't meet your needs, which I'm going to be honest with you, it will and you won't. But if you do, if you want to change, Surfshark give you 30 days to change your mind. Why not give Surfshark a try? You'll be supporting us here at Anfield Agenda and you'll be treating yourself to the best VPN provider out there, bar none. So I pulled this segment of an article that says, while some supporters will be asking for any sort of addition to ease the problems of an injury-hit midfield that is currently without Thiago, Curtis Jones, Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Klopp's more pragmatic view is a long-term one. A 5-year contract and sizable transfer fee will not be handed out to a player who will find himself at the bottom of a well-stocked pile when everyone eventually returns from their respective layoffs. Now, Paddy, that works off the basis and assumption that we'll only go out there and sign someone who's shite. Because, there are many, many, many players out there who I would say would at least find a way to the middle of that pile.
100, yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that, the initial sentiment that, you aren't going to go out and pull a United and overpay for average players. We can't do that. But there definitely is players that fit a mid-profile, mid-tier. FSG have been good for marquee signings, but they've lacked in the kind of mid-range. And if you look at what's happening this summer with the injuries, what's going to happen next summer with the departures, we need more than just one or two class midfielders. We need probably two world-class midfielders and maybe one or two even mid-tier ones. So I don't know why you wouldn't do half the work now this summer.
I agree. And Chris, Connor sent me something just before we went live from a guy called Barry LFC O'Sullivan, who's on Twitter. And look, I don't usually use Twitter for much stuff, but I have to say this kind of struck a chord with me. Klopp has a net spend of around £300 million in 7 years at Liverpool Football Club. Eric Ten Hag has a net spend of around £225 million in 3 months at United. And both clubs now generate roughly the same revenues. The problem is with FSG.
Yeah, I think there's a clear thing to be had for both ways. I mean, United genuinely needed a lot of overhaul, and a lot of their players were sort of towards the end of their contract as well that they got rid of. And yeah, Eric Ten Hag had to go and spend that money, and he's probably going to go and spend a lot more. With Jurgen, we've had with the after the initial overhaul and then the second in sort of 2018, we haven't really. I wouldn't say we haven't needed to, but we haven't had the desperation, shall we say, to. I'd rather, of course, that be a little bit more. 100 or 200 million more on 3 or 4 more players would have been a welcome boost. But overall, yeah, I'm not too enamored by that. I don't think money spent equals success.
I'll tell you what, I'm finding it hard, Chris, to keep digging you out of these holes that you keep putting yourself into with the positivity. I love positivity, but sometimes, sir, I would say it could be a little bit too optimistic. Does anybody truly believe? Let me just ask this question to you both and the chat. Does anyone truly believe that there isn't a midfielder available who we could improve our midfield with? And I don't want to hear about money, because that then becomes FSG being stingy again. The player's either available or they aren't.
There's got to be people. There's got to be people around. Of course there is. But from that Echo article, was that the Echo article, Craig?
This one was pulled from the Echo, the one about the not handing 5-year contract out.
Yeah. They gave a 5-year contract to Ben Davis. So, and that was a situation of desperation.
Chris, it's just hearing those words out loud. 60
Yeah.
grand a week as well, wasn't it?
Exactly. They gave a long-term contract to Nat Phillips, so that's already a moot point. I don't really understand what they're on about with that one, but there's got of course there's hundreds of midfielders out there that are available. It's just for Jurgen and for FSG whether the price and the profile is right. And for me, there's one sitting in RB Leipzig right now who is the perfect profile in Mr. Conrad Leimer, but whether that can get done, I don't know.
Oh, Chris, the puns I could have with Lamer. Oh, I had disclaimer for disclaimer. I was thinking of them earlier on. I'd have a field day with Lamer if he was the one that we went after.
You've missed
so many puns there.
You've missed one that I thought you'd have off the top of your head.
What?
Cumrag Lamer.
No.
No?
No. I saw he was a sock like a normal man.
That's
An international, self-respecting male.
I think I seen I don't know what the quote was. It was like they basically want a world-class player for a below average budget, when in reality, if you want the current crop of like upcoming midfielders, you have to pay a premium, and they're not willing to do that, and that's why ultimately we're going to fall behind and be a couple of players short, and it's why we'll never truly bridge the gap to Man City. And I say bridge the gap. They've won 4 out of the last 5 Premier Leagues, so that's the gap I'm talking about. Whether you think we are good enough or as good as them on their day, over the course of a 38-game season, we've only been good enough to beat them once, and that's why they'll always be ahead of us, because they're willing to go out and spend that money on the premium.
Look, I understand the whole point about looking for value. There's nothing inherently wrong with that until it becomes a problem, until it becomes a little bit too stubborn. So this idea, Chris, that we've left it late in the market, we've admitted that was probably a mistake. Our manager has anyway. And now we're feigning shock that maybe we'll have to go a little bit above and beyond our price point because it's so late in the market. I mean, anybody could have come up with this and told you that, Chris. It's no news. The later you leave in the window, the more expensive signings get.
I mean, there's one case in point. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who we signed for £40 million. He was not a £40 million player. He was maximum probably 25 at that point. And we left it very, very late in the day and we got him in. I honestly don't know why we left it that late in the day for that. Maybe it's because Arsenal were willing to sell and we were willing to buy in that one moment. But yeah, like realistically, why I'm surprised when it's been proved case in point before? It baffles me.
And also, Paddy, the market's evolved. Like, look at this transfer window and look at the money being paid by not just the usual suspects. You can go right across the Premier League now. 51 million today for Paqueta from West Ham. 60 million pound players have been dropped left, right, and centre by clubs in this window. So the market's evolved. The days of the COVID restrictions and clubs having no finances don't seem to be there anymore. But yet we still seem to be getting the same old excuses rolled out.
It's all well and good being able to go and get these pickups for like the Robertsons of this world, the 8 millions, but it's just not feasible to do that time and time again. And with inflation, with football inflation, transfer fees are you don't get anyone truly good for less than 50 million. Like look at Darwin Nunez. While I think he's going to come good and be great, the money for him after one good season is obscene. It is obscene, and it's a bit like the Anthony deal now. It's obscene money, but it's just the way football has gone. And if you're not willing to compete, and it's not like FSG are pulling almost a Glazer move here. They're like, oh, well, we spent money. They've only reinvested money that's been generated from player sales. They haven't reinvested any of their own money. It's not like they're going to be at a loss. They're still working at a profit. And I'm aware they're a business, but it's going to come a time where the lack of investing is going to leave us stagnated. And we are currently short of midfielders, and we're going to get more injuries because some of our best midfielder is made out of brioche buns. So try and get ahead of that inevitability of lack of midfielders and bring them in now. To end this window without midfielders, without at least one, is shocking. And I'm not asking for shit players. There's enough good ones out there. You can go and sign someone now that'll be good in the present, the future, and even beyond that.